Hello, hello. Welcome to the Daily Political Tarot and Astrology here on the Black and Orange channel. Thank you for being here. I am here literally every single day of the year to take your political questions out of the chat. Just leave your questions in the chat before I come on. We've got epic troll slayers who have kept us safe for years. Thank you. And we have got a fantastic community because of your kindness. You have been so kind to each other and you have been so kind to me. Thank you. And if you're watching on replay, hello. You go down in the description box. All the questions are listed there. I timestamp them as I go, so you can pick and choose what you're interested in, or you can watch back on a higher speed, or whatever works best for you. And I've got to tell you, the questions today, we are going to laugh and cry and be shocked and not be shocked. It is all over the map today. So let's just dive in, because seriously, there's not even a point to doing an on today's episode because it's going to be so much. Okay, and I don't want to give short shrift to anything specific. I'm glad you guys like the blue. And this is the nails for today. They're like butterflies. So, what's this? Anyway, and the pulp tarot. Okay. At 1 minute 40 seconds in, we're jumping right in. Yesterday, here in Chicago, we had the first dust storm warning in the history of Chicago. There has been one dust storm warning in the state of Illinois, which is incredibly long and thin. It's like an 8-hour drive from one end to the other. It's very large. And but this is the first time we had a dust storm here in Chicago. And the pictures are crazy making. Like the Chicago skyscrapers, just big clouds of dark sand and dust. And so we've talked many times here about the planets returning to places they've been over the years. And are we basically going into a second Dust Bowl? Because what you need for a Dust Bowl is two things. One, a drought. Yeah, we haven't been getting as much rain as we should have. A drought and terrible farming practices where they're not doing the cover crops they should. They're not allowing certain fields to lay fallow. They're not allowing And recall during the Dust Bowl back in around 1930, at one point, the worst hit part of the country, if my memory serves me, the worst hit part of the country was the panhandle of Oklahoma, actually, in that area. They were hit the worst. A lot of places across the country were hit. Lots of places across the Midwest were hit. But it was worse there. It was so bad in the panhandle of Oklahoma. They lost 75% of their topsoil. If you actually go back and and read about what happened, the effect was so much worse than what we think of today. So, this is worrying. So I wanted to definitely do a reading on this. It's climate change is what's happening now. It's climate change and bad farming practices. So, Kaludi, you have approximately 100 rose bushes? That's amazing. We've had no rain for over 2 weeks. It took me 2 hours to water my roses. I have approximately 100 plants. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Okay. Kathy's saying if you leave a high window cracked, your AC works better. Perhaps, but not like today. This morning, when I heard that we were having all these sanctions, one of the things I specifically made sure I bought were the best quality furnace filters I could afford, because those are my understanding. Now, I have not had time to go research it deeply, but what I was hearing from various people was that most of those kinds of things are made overseas. So I wanted to make certain, we had them. When I was a child, when I was very small, I'm going to do an overload of Celtic. When I was very small, I had terrible dust allergies, horrible. So until I was a teenager, we moved a lot, but every time we moved, my bedroom had linoleum, and there was very little. There was a bed and a like a dresser and like one small bookshelf, and that was it. So I got over a lot of that, but I still have dust allergies, and they're not as bad as they were, but they're not fun. And I couldn't breathe this morning, so I changed I changed the filters, and I've been running the fan on the furnace. I've got a air purifier right underneath the desk, and I'm still, yeah. When there was so much smoke in California, one of the things people were doing there was they were taking furnace filters and box fans, and they were taping furnace filters to the fronts of the box fans inside their house to try and scoop up more of the smoke and from wildfires. And that's the kind of thing you have to do also for dust storms. So, all right. I was going to do an overload Celtic, and I was just talking, and I did my normal 5 cards. Okay. And a card for the reading. Okay. All right. You tell me. Desert Dawn says those box fans with filters are noisy. I believe it. You tell me, big corporate farming, do they tend to be good with the land or bad with the land? Because with Trump's base of power and everything he's pushing with the big, beautiful, blankety blank budget, it's not necessarily going so well. But anyway, there are decisions made right there. There is the MAGA faithful, the cult members, and ouch. Sabine says bad. Raymond says bigly bad. Yeah. Okay. Because what this is saying is this is the more that the biggest corporations get tax breaks, the harder things are on farmers, the more family farmers have to sell their land to corporations. Catherine saying corporate farming makes decisions on profit, not stewardship. You would think the smart thing to do would be, it would be considered basic maintenance. Carol says corporate farmers basically pour chemicals on dead soil. Oof. Oof. Yeah, this is not good. And this corporations above everything, lack of regulations, less regulation. Between that and the weather, this is not going to get better. This is, well, Major Arcana and Swords. Oh yeah. Oh god. Okay. Javanka says Big Ag. Hang on. Big Ag pours on the fertilizer and pesticides. As fertilizer gets more expensive, they may need to think a bit more about what they're doing. Well, it's certainly getting more expensive. And of course, if anyone's interested, tonight is the Eurovision Song Contest. You can watch it at the link he's put in the chat. It starts in 93 minutes. There we go. That would be fun. Music Mansion says farmers used to rotate their crops. You'd think. Even my raised beds, I'm doing a permaculture mix. There are 9 in each bed. There I can fit 16 1-foot squares. So it's 18, because I've got like 9 here and 9 there. And in the center of each one, I'm growing beans to help fix a little bit of nitrogen in the soil next to the tomatoes that do well next to the basil, which do well with the onions and the, yeah. So, I mean, I'm doing that in my little itty bitty garden. So, all right. Well, is this going to be the new normal? Please not. Please not. I would like to be able to go outside every once in a while. I mean, I don't very much, but I'd like to be able to. Thank you, Carol. Oh, grief. Because of foolishness. Oh, Canadian Dry gifted 10 memberships to random people in the chat. Thank you. Thank you, Canadian Dry. Thank you. Amy Sanders is also known as square foot gardening, but with a little more thought to what is a helper plant. Exactly. That's what I'm doing. Foolish. The absolute burden. And look how it's like a dust storm. Not listening. Refusal to listen. But also a need for some more water. Hermit. Not good. Not good. So if you are if you have dust allergies, if you have asthma, if you have whatever issues you have, do your best to prepare. I mean, air purifiers are not cheap. You've got to buy the original thing, and then you've got to replace the filters. You can make them go a little bit longer by pulling the filter out of the bottom and vacuuming. That helps it last a bit longer, but it's expensive. But if that's what it takes so you can breathe, do it. Okay. Man. Cindy says washable filters too. Absolutely. All right. Now, like I said, we're going to this whole all the questions today. We're going to be up. We're going to be down. There's going to be an array of emotions today. So we're moving on to number 2 at 1450. So, Mr. Quality, Donald Trump, came out with Trump watches because of course he did. It's not, he doesn't make them, or not that he makes anything, but he doesn't make them there. But it's a licensed product. Trump watches have been a new officially licensed grift. Okay. You can get one of his nice watches for $600. That's a lot. That's a lot. Reports are coming out, however, that instead of saying Trump on its face, do I have a picture? I might have a picture. Oh yeah, I have a picture. Oh gosh, it's got his signature on it. Ew. Okay, let me share. Share screen. So, quality. Yeah. Like a roast. I mean, I don't have a problem with the Eisenhower pink, but wow. So, one man who spent over $600 on this, one for his wife, noted, "I'm very disappointed. I wanted to do a special thing for her, and we expected that it would have the integrity of the President of the United States." Honestly, it does. This absolutely, it's good his signature is on this, because this is exact quality that you will get if you spend $600 on anything Rump does. This is chef's kiss. Absolute accuracy in quality. Yeah, the hideous signature that looks like a heart, like the heart attack he's giving the country. It's like an EKG of the. Wow. Kathy's asking, does the bezel even rotate? Yeah. Travels, why does it say Rump? Because it's bad quality. Cheap. It's a cheap watch. Yeah. Burden. Let me do it this way. There we go. Burden of. Okay, it's just. Okay. A DEATH card. Trying to stir up some business judgment. No. 6 of Swords. 9 of Swords. This. Yeah, the grift is not going so well. And the more low quality products he comes out with, the more he actually does annoy his base. So, it's garbage. Because he's garbage. I don't like saying that about anybody, but he is. Seriously, this is what you get when you're dealing with somebody who has 34 felony convictions, had to pay $25 million to people who took his course. I'm so sorry. Again, dust. I can taste dust. Excuse me. Yep, this has not been doctored. It's a real thing. Amy's asking, who even wears watches anymore? Pedometer. pedometer, just pedometer and my heart rate, and that I wear these. I wear this. It's a Fitbit, but is he going to just continue to make money off of all of these people? Oh, his victory for now. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, people is faithful or willing to throw money at him so that he can fund the lifestyles of the dumb and shameless. But he ends up on the defensive. That makes me think of something. Let's stop that. We'll put the pretty picture back up. There we go. And just so you know, if you're new around here, hello. There's new art every day, new colors, new questions, new. It's popping fresh around here every single day, and has been for over 5 years. So that makes me wonder, what is the second half of the dumpster fire's presidency going to actually look like? Is he at 2130? Second half of his. Is he still going to be able to grift and grift and grift and grift, or is suddenly people going to start waking up and everything he does will turn to ash? Shifting, because even though my understanding is the stock market is trying to recover, or starting to recover a little bit, because it's like, oh, the tariffs are going to be a thing of the past. No, they're not even a thing of the past now, let alone in August, because 90 days, things could come roaring back. I mean, the tariffs could come roaring back. Depends what kind of mood he's in. And by the way, I'd like also to remind everyone that here in this United States of America, it's Congress that has control of tariffs, not the presidency. But Congress is like, oh, well. The Republicans in Congress are like, oh, well. So, yeah. In theory, the second half of Trump's presidency will be after the midterms and onward. Their plans did not really fully coming to fruition the way they wanted to. People are hurting financially. Prices are going up. And I agree. Cindy, for instance, prices go up, they don't go back down. Rarely. Knight of Cups, you get Democrats and people who believe in, I don't know, silly things like human rights. You get them fighting. There's Page of Cups, young people. Moving on, doesn't take a lot of effort to say, that's wrong. It's like, yeah. And then when Trump takes action, there's strength there. Is that strength for him, or is that strength against him? Because two out of those 3 cards are not good for him. So is the dumpster fire still going to be Mr. Grift? Mr. Conman Grift? Will he be a successful con man in the second half of his presidency? Ick. Oh, hello, Justice card. Where did you come from? You know, if Democrats really go out and vote in a huge way for the midterms, there's a lot that we could do, not only to stop, but to reverse a lot of the stupidity that Republicans have done. Emperor, that's not good. Page of Wands, 10 of Pentacles, his dynasty, out in the cold, abject poverty and sickness. I don't think things are going to look good for him after midterms. I just don't. I'm not going to listen to any pollster who's like, "Oh, Democrats are going to win. They're just going to do this over it. It's going to be amazing. They're going to win everything." And it's like, no. Look, you've fooled us twice now. And they run their mouths and they get people's hopes up and they dissuade people from voting. Well, I don't have to vote. There are going to be so many other people voting. It'll be fine. No. Mm-mm. So, all right. Nettie says there will be a price war within the stores to keep their business going because people will either slow down their shopping or just stop. Yeah. Mega Karen says good cards. Thank you. Catherine says he will remain a con man as long as he breathes. Yes. I'm betting on impeachment. Lord, I know we don't talk often. Which isn't true, but okay. Okay. Moving on. Kristen from Uncover the News brought this. Thank you, Kristen. The United States just lost its last perfect credit rating because, of course, it did. Moody's ratings downgraded the United States debt on Friday. The move could rattle financial markets and push up interest rates, potentially creating an additional financial burden for Americans already struggling with tariffs and inflation. This is crazy making. Of the three major credit rating agencies, Moody's was the lone holdout, maintaining its outstanding rating of AAA for U.S. debt. Moody's has held a perfect credit rating for the United States since 1917. But it's falling apart now. Thanks, Trump. Okay. I'm concerned about interest rates. At one point, Dumpy was saying he wanted negative interest rates. Please. Lewis is asking, is there anything in our country he hasn't ruined? You. Us. Because we won't let him. He can go touch grass. Yeah. So, very shaky financially. Because of mismanagement on a huge scale. Five of Swords, adding insult to injury. There's Justice. There's the King of Swords. And there's a DEATH card. If the Republicans manage to get their big, beautiful, blankety-blank budget passed, it's going to be bad. Hal Sparks says he doesn't think that they're going to be able to pass it at all. He thinks we're going to have a continuing resolution sometime around September. If they get it passed, it will be awful. So, yep, Ms. Gibson, I like You have said MAGA has to learn their lessons. Unfortunately, we have to go with it too. Yeah, we're dealing with the collateral. We are the collateral damage. We're dealing with the collateral damage. Star says, how much longer can we endure? As long as it takes. I'm not giving up. And I'm not letting you give up either. I'm dragging you along with me. Come on. We're not giving up. No way. Heck no. Heck no. This will be the end of this country. No. No. It'll be bad, but it's not. No. It won't be the end of the country. Nope. Not. Nope. We're not going to let that happen. No way. Cindy says we'll be ringing your doorbell. I don't have much space, but I'll see what I can do. Yeah. All right. At 3110, as I told you, there's. Whew. Okay, now this is glorious. At 3115. Oh, Nettie. Nettie was kind enough to bring this. The Supreme Court voted 7-2 against felonious fatuous 47. Yes. He can no longer deport immigrants out of this country on a whim. The immigrants have a right to appear in court and plead their cases. Yeah. So, what will Pam Bondi and ICE Czar Tom Jackboots Homan do now that the court has slapped them down? I'm sure they'll come up with something cruel. Homan is wow. Wow. I cannot think of him without wondering in 1938 where he would have if he had been a German in 1938. Think he would have been in the resistance? So they're going to come up with something else cruel and awful and terrible, which is what they've been trying to do. Although they have been, the courts have been knocking their cruelty down. Can we please get those people back from El Salvador too? Okay, thanks. They have to create a situation where somebody's going to make money inside the country. I don't know if it's private, like private prison type situations, or Ms. Gibson says, I guess we don't have to guess who the two who voted against it. No, it's exactly you think it is. They will come up with something. The justices have spoken. They're trying to figure out what resources they have. This is aggressive law enforcement chaos. All the people they're trying to hurt. There's the cult. And whoever's willing to, somebody's going to make money off of this. They're going to find a way that someone's going to make money off of this. That's what I'm getting. Or that's maybe what they try. Will the courts continue to push them. Or will the court continue to stymie them? Courts continue to stymie these heinous people. Well, if they continue with the arguments like they brought to the Supreme Court the other day to try to end birthright citizenship, yeah, that it's not going to work well. This kind of extremist, the group of them doing this kind of extremist MAGA stuff, TikTok, things are shifting. King of Pentacles. At some point, if the courts push back enough, you have to go to Congress. You have to go to Congress and try to do something about immigration. And once that's a whole other vat of worms. Oh, maybe they will talk about Alcatraz. So that one, that idea just fell through. Honestly, what it feels like is this has more to do with the budget. I'm feeling a lot of congressional energy here. This is what Congress is doing so that the rich stay rich and the people have fewer rights like they did in the good old days or just the old days. And there's less benefits here. So it's possible that some of the focus is going to shift the more President Dumpster Fire and his ilk get blocked. So there's an idea, Sabine. Just rename Mar-a-Lago Alcatraz. There we go. Okay. All right. Speaking of which, how's the budget going? 3750. The House stalled. Fatuous 47's big, beautiful, blankety blank budget. Now, what are Mikey and Orangina going to do now? No, Kathy, he's not going to break the U.S. before we can stop him. I disagree with you. I'm going to respectfully disagree, my friend. No. We're not done for. No. Nope. All right, so what are they going to do about the that budget now? I keep thinking, oh yeah, we're going to do this. Really? Because it's not looking so great. Lewis is suggesting have a hissy fit as usual. That makes sense. Yep. Beth says they will bribe and threaten. Also, highly likely. I like that K, Magatraz. Desert Dawn says Rachel Maddow said there are protests against Trump every single day. The U.S. will stand. I agree. Yeah. I'm not saying this is going to be easy. No. But, oh, heck no. So, the budget, how's it going? I think it's going to be a while. Hermit. They can't get their... I've explained this before. Sorry for long-time viewers. In this country, in the U.S., some people complain that we only have two parties. Au contraire, we have multiple parties, but we don't call them that because we have those multiple parties under two big umbrellas. one for Democrats, one for Republicans. And you have people within, you have under that umbrella. So it's basically our coalitions are baked in. They're having a little trouble under the big top over there, over the giant umbrella, and there are some people who want not as many cuts and some people who want more cuts. And there are plenty of Democrats willing to go along with a big ol' no vote. So, 8 of Wands, of course they'll be calling people and threatening them and what have you. I saw someone who had a young person on one side of it, like there was an open door, so they just divide like a mother and daughter. And the daughter was late teens, that kind of thing. And they were asking, without making any noise, how do you lower a car window? And the daughter went, and the mother went, there was a reason I was telling you this. There was something else. Oh, phoning. What do you, you go to make a call. How do you, the motion you would make to say you're going to make a call. And the daughter went like this. And the mother went like this. So yeah, they'll be calling and whatever. Be calling and threatening people. Yeah. Lying about what's in there, lying about what Democrats want. And the longer that they cannot agree on this budget, the better it is for the country. It just is. Page of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles. This is just petering out, just weakness. So, yep. Whew. So, are they going to have to go back to the drawing board and start breaking this thing up? They're going to have to do something. Six of Pentacles, Seven of Wands, on the defensive, can't get it done. And the Democrats over here like, yeah. So, good. The longer their stupidity goes on while they're in power, the less damage they can do to people. Good. Continue to gather those L's. Harvest those L's. Speaker Heretic. All right. Now this. All right, I'm gonna skip this one right now. I might roll it over to tomorrow because there's this other one right beneath it. Is this wildly important in the grand scheme of the universe? No. But after all of these years of putting up with the dumpster fire family and all the cruelty and all the selfishness, I do find it interesting. So if you'll excuse me for going extremely shallow for one question, and if you're watching on replay, you can always skip to the next question. All the links are in the description. Ivanka Trump has apparently gone wandering in search of the Philadelphia Eagles cornerback. I don't know football very well. I didn't know there was a cornerback. There was just a quarterback. Is there a cornerback? Anyway, Eli Ricks. Eli Ricks tweeted that Ivanka was exactly my type. In a post on X on Friday, Ivanka, Cindy says, "You're funny." Yes, he throws the ball. I thought that was a quarterback. Anyway, I don't know. I have no idea. Quarterback. Do they mean quarterback? Okay, anyway. So Ivanka posted on Friday on X. She shared an image taken inside the Eagles' locker room, and in it she appears to have left a note for Eli Ricks saying she was sorry to have missed meeting the player. Missed you today at Elias Ricks, the post reads, followed by a winky face and crying, laughing emoji. So, everything good in the Kushner household? Alden Pond is saying, I hope she leaves Jared for Gritty. Yes. And says, oh no, no more Mr. Mannequin Man. Cindy says not buying it. Okay, sounds like AI. Okay. Is this a real thing? See, here's the thing. I can't stand either of these people, so. And Eli Ricks, be careful what you wish for. Just saying. Is he single? I know nothing about this man. I obviously don't even know what his position is. No. Cindy says exactly. It's just fun tea. Yes, I'm never. This is not serious. No. But the cards that are coming up are card for the reading, institution, like the institution of marriage. King of Swords would be legal counsel or someone seeking legal counsel. Eight of Pentacles, work under false pretenses. Two of Pentacles, very shaky ground. Strength with the Justice card. Now, if it was strength with the Two of Cups, the partnership card, or even the Lovers, I'd say, okay. But strength with the Justice card, with the King of Swords here, generally that would mean she's got really great alimony possibilities with in front of a judge. Oh, Miss Gibson, I don't feel sorry for either of them. Oh no, I agree. They are two selfish people. Absolutely. Kathy, I like how you put that. Trump doesn't care. He'll marry anything. Okay, so Wheel of Fortune. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Sometimes you're at the top of the wheel, sometimes you're underneath it. Three of Wands, Fool, Ace of Wands. So getting together, they broke up and then they were convinced to get back together, and it's a marriage of money, and then it became a marriage of power, but this is Fool. And this Ace of Wands is quite often bullying. I just feel sorry for their kids. That's all. Okay. All right. All right. Ugh. Gross. All right. So, at 50, 40. Okay. So a month after an executive order declared that museums in Washington, D.C. should not be places where visitors are subjected to ideological indoctrination or divisive narratives that distort our shared history. Please. At least 32 artifacts have been removed from the National Museum of African American History and Culture. Artifacts no longer on display in the museum include Harriet Tubman's personal hymn book, a first edition of Frederick Douglass's narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, published in 1845. Are these kinds of things being kept safe after removal? I believe so. The people I know who are into history, let alone working at museums, they are very protective of historical objects. Very, very, very. Javanka says that big, that big plantation burned down in Louisiana. I saw that. Is that the one where Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds got married? I can't remember. Anyway, because that would be fitting. Anyway, are these historical objects being kept safe? There's a lot of worry here. This is a lot of objects. Usually it's the person sitting there with his arms crossed and there's a whole array of objects displayed behind him. That's your museum. Two of Pentacles is shaky finances, but Seven of Pentacles is a lot of money. Three of Swords, ouch. Heartache, but I've got a Queen of Cups right here. Nine of Swords. Which makes me wonder if were any of them instructed to sell any of these objects? Because what I'm getting here is a lot of worry to basically do the bare minimum. And if anything, if there is anything about, let me ask this. Make sure that I've got this right, because it's not in those cards, but it feels like you have to understand that a lot of these museums in Washington, D.C. are massive. There's no way they can display all the stuff they've got. So there are huge warehouses full of stuff. And it just kind of feels like at least a few things accidentally being lost. This is my racism card, unfortunately. There's the would-be emperor. Page of Swords. These directives were not very well written. Hermit. Five of Cups. So this is disappointment, but this is Hermit. So the Hermit. So I wish I was getting a very clear, absolutely yes, all of these pieces are going to be perfectly preserved. I think there's some worry that some of them won't be, but I also think that some of these people so love history and believe it is their duty to protect history, that I think there will be some things that will, oh gosh, I can't imagine. Okay, Kathy says it's a mess. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. Anyway, all right. Now, I don't have a lot of time left. Actually, I'll get into this tomorrow because there have been some new polls about who, in theory, who Republicans would vote for if there was an election today. And I went and looked. We don't have a birth time for Shady Vance. So one of the things traditionally in astrology is you can watch the transit of Saturn. And once Saturn goes below the horizon, it's usually a 7-year period of pulling out of the spotlight. But I don't know if that's happening because we don't have a birth time. So I'll have to see what I can find out. But we'll talk about this tomorrow. Nearly half of registered Republicans surveyed in May said they would support Shady Vance in a primary to succeed Donald Trump. Nearly half. DeSatan came in a distant second at 8%. And yeah, Rubio and Cruz each received 6%. Yeah. Anyway, we'll start looking at this. So, but let me pull a card for today. I can still taste dust in my mouth. This is ridiculous. Oh, don't be sick. It's okay, Anne. We'll be okay. We'll get through this. Seriously, the man has the charisma of a tadpole. Actually, tadpoles are cute, at least. He has the charisma of a lump of mud. Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. Shady Vance has the charisma of a lump of mud. 2 of Wands. Oh, yeah, great communication. But anyway, this isn't about that. This is about what we need to think about. There's more gunk. They're just going to keep flapping their gums about. Don't let them get to you. Seriously. Things are not going well for them. They're trying to do all this damage, but so far it's not working. They will continue trying to push your buttons. But let's face it. President Dumpster Fire is racking up the losses. Just racking them up. And it's lovely to see. All right, it is 1:14 here in Chicago. At 3 o'clock, I'll be over on the Creative Sprints channel. You're always welcome. We just want to be productive and encourage you on whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. So we'll be over there starting at 3 p.m. Central Time. Other than that, I'll be right back here tomorrow. All right. And we're going to get through this. Seriously, we're going to get through this. Hang in there. All right. And I'm taking you with me. We're making it through this. Come on. Come on. We're making it through this. All right. You're not alone. There are good days ahead. We are in this together. All right. So hang in there, and I will see you later. All right. Take care. Thank you for watching. Do hit the like or subscribe if you enjoyed this. Thank you. Okay.